The idea that we can start expanding and doing different things, and not only that, but Streamline Athletes is even giving our writers more support as well. It's exciting.
Better coverage, better analysis, better projections, better rankings for track and field because our fans deserve it. Track and field fans deserve it. All the other sports get that level of analysis, and it just hasn't happened here yet.
We're going to be special. I think we're going to be really special.
So today we'll be covering major news in the track and field running world, the acquisition of the Stride report made by Streamline Athletes. I'm Carlos Vargas, and I'm part of the marketing team here at Streamline Athletes, a free-to-use track and field collegiate recruitment platform. And I'm joined today by Garrett Zatlin, founder of the Stride report, and Brett Montrose, co-founder of Streamline Athletes. So Garrett, Brett, good to have you both here with me today. I'll open up my first question right now to Garrett, and I want to know a little bit about the Stride report, Garrett. For those of you that don't know about it, what's been happening to it over the past few months, and what is it about exactly?
Right. Thanks. So the Stride report, we founded it back in March 2017. Started off as a kind of like a small site that really didn't get a whole lot of traffic, and then slowly over time, we built something pretty special thanks to the work and effort from my team, who put in some tremendous efforts. We cover collegiate distance running, D1, D2, D3, both men and women, with the potential to expand some more. We cover, with podcasts and rankings and projections and recaps and analytical tools and things of that nature. So we've become kind of a do-it-all kind of content area for distance running in the NCAA. And ultimately, we shut down the site back in June. And immediately after we did that, Streamline Athletes approached us, Brett and Alex at Streamline, and said, hey, let's chat. Let's have a few conversations. And in a time where I just thought that it was not going to be possible to sustain this site, Streamline Athletes stepped up when a lot of people thought they could and they just didn't. So I commend Streamline Athletes for stepping up to the table and saying, we're going to try to make this work. And here we are. It's worked. So it's exciting.
Yeah, totally. I'd like to pass it on to Brett and let him expand a little bit about what was the thought process behind acquiring the Stride report.
Yeah, thanks, Carlos, and thanks for the kudos there, Garrett. First of all, I just want to make note of how excited we are and how happy we are that the Stride report and Streamline Athletes were able to come together and we were able to make something work. The thought process was really an organic one. The Stride report brand and presence on social media was one that we've been following since we incorporated the company. And I also just learned the Stride report incorporated or founded the same month that Streamline Athletes did. So we line up even more there, March of 2017. And then we just didn't want to see it die right away. So we just wanted to talk to Garrett. And then from there, the idea grew. Alex and I really loved the conversations that we had with Garrett. And we thought that there could be a potential avenue to bring the Stride report back if we were able to check off some boxes. And for us, the big part was getting to know Garrett a little bit, finding out how passionate he was, realizing that the Stride report wasn't something that he necessarily wanted to say goodbye to. And then on top of that, from a business standpoint, a strategic standpoint, Streamline Athletes has done a really good job growing and offering more resources for our high school student athletes who are making that leap to the collegiate level. But we really feel like by adding the Stride report to the Streamline Athletes family of companies, we're going to be able to give those kids a place to stay connected through their time at college and university with the Stride report. So we're extending the amount of time that we get to spend with student athletes and their families. And we're doubling down on our commitment to growing the sport of track and field and cross country. And we couldn't ask for a better partner to do it with than the Stride report. So I think we're really happy and we're excited to see what Garrett and his team can do with full-time work on the publication. That's been not something that Garrett's had the opportunity to do before. So it's an exciting day. it's been a long time coming, several months of conversation and a lot of work behind the scenes, but now the fun gets to start. And I think Garrett's equally stoked. So yeah.
Definitely stoked about it. Yeah, building off on that, Garrett, how do you feel about being full time for the Stride Report? Maybe explain a bit your situation before and how it's going to change and how it's going to affect the business now.
Yeah, I'm amped. I mean, for people who maybe aren't familiar with my background, I've touched on it in past podcasts. But at one point, I was working three different jobs. I was doing my full time job in financial tech. I was doing some freelance work, and I was doing TSR. And it was 80, 90-hour weeks pretty consistently, pretty regularly. And it takes a toll on you after a while. It just really takes a toll. And despite some of the really promising progress we saw with TSR, and despite us thinking that we could get there one day, I just knew that at the immediate moment, we just didn't have the necessary resources or capabilities that maybe someone like Streamline had in order to sustain it and keep it alive. So I had to make a very, very hard decision. And in June, eventually shut down the site. The outpour of support was incredibly heartwarming. But now this is a unique opportunity. This is a wake up every day, and I don't go to a job where I'm just trying to get by because that's what's required of me. TSR is now my full time job, and it's something that I could not be more amped about. I can't tell you how many times I'm in the car just detailing ideas and plans that we can do. We're going to be special. I think we're going to be really special. I kept telling everyone, we don't need certain people or resources or video. We just need time. And Streamline Athletes gave us, without question, the best commodity out there for me, which is time. And I think this is going to be pretty special in the long run.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, building off on that, what do you think can be expected in terms of content with the Stride Report moving forward now that you're going to be full time with it? Like, I'm assuming there's going to be more content, like more quality as well. Obviously, you've been able to offer a great quality content, but now that you're full time and that there's more budget and all, what can we expect from the Stride Report and Streamline Athletes together?
Right. Yeah, it's exciting to think about the possibilities because right now we already were doing about one article about 6 days a week, and like I think now it's going to get the idea of like, hey, we can do the articles and maybe some prediction pages, maybe a different podcast, maybe podcasts extending to different divisions. Maybe we go to different divisions. Maybe we go to U Sports in Canada. Maybe we go to JUCO. Maybe we go to NAIA. Right. The idea that we can start expanding and doing different things. And not only that, but Streamline Athletes is even giving our writers more support as well. It's exciting. Like it gives them more incentive to be excited about what's going on there. Right. Sometimes we could only get, let's say there's 8 different meets happening on a weekend and we get one preview out. Maybe now we get 2. Maybe now we get 3. Right. It's exciting to think about what can happen here. It really is pretty endless. And I'm excited. I think there's just endless possibilities of what we can do. And I think this will most certainly allow us to stay much more engaged. Whereas in previous times, it was trying to post an article at lunch and then going right back to work. So it's exciting.
Yeah, for sure. And I can definitely see you guys expanding into more divisions and Streamline Athletes being a Canadian company and the Stride Report being a United States founded company. Seeing those two like alliances together, like you usually see news only on United States runners or news only on Canadian runners, but now we'll be able to really like bridge that and have like a whole like North American and maybe one day international type of news, right, on track and field. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. All right, so this next question goes to Brett. I wanted to know, explain a little bit about what Streamline Athlete is and what it's came to be over the past few years, where it started a bit maybe as well, for the audience that maybe doesn't know what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hopefully we have some new listeners from the Stride Report community listening in. So I'm happy to share a little bit about who we are at Streamline Athletes and what we do. Um, my business partner and I, Alex, as Garrett mentioned earlier, is my business partner. Uh, we were both collegiate athletes, kind of middle of the pack runners out here in Canada's West Coast at Simon Fraser University, which we were fortunate enough to actually make the transition from the NAIA into the NCAA Division II during our time at school. But what we noticed was just that a lot of athletes, not just at our school, but track and field athletes involved in the sport, um, felt like they had to make pretty quick decisions about where to go to university. And maybe it was their first or second year as a collegiate athlete before they actually realized that there was, 1,700 other schools that they could look at. So we wanted to make sure that athletes had access, high school athletes had access to all the information that they need to be really confident about where to go to school. And then as we started to look into it further, we realized that on the other side, for the collegiate coaches, there was a lot of time and money being spent in inefficient ways to bring athletes into their programs. And we thought if we can marry these two things together, um, we can actually create a revenue model that drives most of the cash on the college side and opens up doors for athletes to use the platform for free or for a really low cost. So Streamline Athletes is a track and field cross country specific recruitment platform that democratizes access to education and sport for student athletes while also creating far more efficient recruiting pathways for the college teams, bringing those athletes in. Um, Couple quick updates about the company beyond just what we do there. We've got several thousand athletes on the platform now being recruited using Streamline Athletes. We're working with some big name colleges and universities now as partners of ours who are recruiting athletes on our platform. And we've also got a great ambassador program. So I'm hoping that we can bring this into the Stride Report fold a little bit too, potentially, because we've had the opportunity to work with some great ambassador partners like Liz Gleedle, who's a professional javelin thrower here in BC, has been fantastic for us. And then we've worked with Andre DeGrasse and Aaron Brown and have produced some content with them over the last little while. And then it looks like we're going to be moving forward with some exciting projects from Justin Knight as well over the next year. So hopefully there's some ways that we can overlap with the Stride Report and our ambassadors and help more readers hear the stories of the pros and how they got from high school to college and beyond. I guess that's Streamline Athletes in a nutshell. And we're we're at a point where there's big things on the horizon, and one of those is bringing the Stride Report in and together, really committing to um, better coverage, better analysis, better projections, better rankings for track and field. Because our fans deserve it. Track and field fans deserve it. All the other sports get that level of analysis, and it just hasn't happened here yet. And then just getting more kids access to school and sport. That's what it's all about.
All right, well, Brett and Garrett, it's been a pleasure to talk to both of you, and I'm wishing the best to the Stride Report and the Streamline Athletes that are partnering up together. And this acquisition is really good for the sport. And yeah, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Carlos.
Thank you, Carlos.